against Australian superstar and former 154-pound world champion Tim Tszyu at a catch weight of 158 pounds. This all headlines a PBC pay-per-view event available on Prime Video in the U.S. prime time from Australia, Saturday, July 25th. In addition to this being on a pay-per-view, it's available for purchase on Prime Video regardless of Prime membership. Fans will also be able to continue to access the telecast through traditional cable and satellite outlets, as well as ppv.com. This event is promoted by No Limit Boxing and the Rose Brothers, Man Down Promotions, and TGB Promotions. Now, before we get to our combatants, I want to bring up a man responsible for helping put this mega fight together. Please help me welcome the president of TGB Promotions, Mr. Tom Brown.
Miguel, thanks for coming out. You know, we're all very excited to finally get this fight announced. We've been talking about it for quite a few months now. It's great to finally get a press conference out and get this fight officially on the schedule. We've got champion versus champion, warrior versus warrior, in a meaningful fight in one of the boxing's hottest divisions, 154 pounders. You know there's going to be a lot of 154 pounders with their eyes on this fight, and the winner of this fight will be in a great position moving forward. I'm also very happy to be working once again with Matt Rose, the Rose Brothers, and having a No Limit Boxing. I actually believe this could be the biggest fight in Australian boxing history, knocking out Pacquiao and Horn. You know, I'm also so happy having Errol Spence back. He's already done so much in this game, being a unified welterweight champion, the WBC, WBA, and IBF world champion. So it's great having him back. He's got big wins over some great names like Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Danny Garcia, Mike Garcia, Uranus Lugas. So, you know, so it's just great having him back. I'm personally very happy, and I think that it's going to be a big night for him, big night for us. Thank you all for coming out.
All right, and now let's hear from the other side as we are introducing a man that, again, is helping bring this fight to Australia, which I know the country is extremely happy for, and as Tom Brown said, could be the biggest in Australian history. So please help me welcome from No Limit Boxing and the Rose Brothers, Matt Rose.
We put this fight together probably 2 years ago. Fell apart for different reasons, and then 6 months ago had a call from Louis de Cubas, and Louis mentioned the fact that Errol was coming back, and one name that Tim's always asked for is Errol Spence, and I guess his standing in boxing, and what he's done really shows the level of opponent that Tim wanted to fight. Tim's a sort of fighter that's turned up and always wanted to fight the best. So this fight was easy to make in terms of Tim wanting to fight Errol. I think the biggest dilemma we had was where we were going to have it. And for fight fans in Australia, this is going to be a special fight because we haven't had a fight of this magnitude. I think Tom mentioned it, in about 7 years. Manny Pacquiao, Jeff Horn, that was a fight that pretty much lit up Australia. And I think this fight is going to do the same because it's not very often we can bring fights this magnitude all the way out to Australia. First time Tim's had a fight of this status in Australia, and it's one that we've worked really hard in I guess, pulling off and making it all work. In 3 weeks' time, we're going to announce the actual location. We can confirm the date, as Tom said, the 25th of July in America, 26th of July in Australia. The fight will go ahead. I would like to thank Tom for all his work over the last couple of years. Worked really closely with PBC, Tom Brown, Louis de Cubas, Al Heyman. We're going to see a great fight. Tim Tszyu always turns up to fight. He's shown here on many occasions what it actually means to jump in the ring. He's a warrior, and I know that he wants to get back to the top. And the only way to get back to the top is to beat Errol Spence. And that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a great fight. I think everyone look forward to working with PBC, Tom Brown, and hosting everyone in Australia. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Matt. And now before we get to our fighters, I want to bring up a man that is one of the best trainers in the sport. He's going to be in Errol's corner on July 25th. Please help me welcome Ronnie Shields.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thanks everyone for being here. We're looking forward to this fight. Errol, this will be our first fight together. So we, we're going to get the thing done. We're looking forward to this. We know Tim is a very good fighter, former world champion. And we know we have a work cut out for us. We just know that Errol is going to be in the best shape he can possibly get in. And with the experience and everything that he's been through in his life as a fighter, we feel comfortable in going to Australia to get this thing done. And the fans are really going to be the winners of this. So look forward to it. And everybody keep watching.
All right, thank you, Ronnie. And now let's hear from our fighters. First up, this man is following up a pair of memorable fights against Sebastian Fundora with back-to-back victories, including most recently dominating Dennis Nuria back in April. He is the former WBO super welterweight world champion, the Australian superstar with 27 victories, 18 by knockout, opposite of 3 defeats. This man has proven he is willing to take on anyone and everyone. Here is Tim Tszyu.
Just want to say thank you. Thank you to PBC, thank you to No Limit, thank you to everyone for making this fight possible. I've always been a guy that chases the toughest and baddest challenges out there. And when I got presented with Errol, he's undeniably one of the best fighters of this decade. I didn't hesitate, and I straight away accepted. I accepted not to compete, but I accepted because I knew that the victory is only on my mind. I know the challenge that is put in front of me. I want to work super hard, and I'm coming for it all. I'm coming for it all. Thank you again. Victory is mine.
All right, thank you, Tim. Now let's hear from your opponent. He is making his return for the first time since a 2023 mega fight against Terrence Crawford. His resume, as Tom Brown mentioned, is a who's who of one of this generation's top fighters. When you talk about Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Yordenis Ugas, Mikey Garcia, and plenty more. He is the former unified WBC, WBA, IBF welterweight world champion. He is a 2012 U.S. Olympian representing DeSoto, Texas, with 28 victories, 22 by knockout, and just 1 defeat. Here is Errol, the True Spence Jr.
How's everybody doing? I'm glad to be back. It's been a long time, 3 years. I'm sure everybody has their, reserved opinions, thinking I'm a shell of myself, or do he still have it? It's just because I'll be thinking the same thing you see in my last fight. But I guarantee you, on July 26th, you will see a better, more improved Errol Spence. It was some time I had 3 years off, and I feel like it helped me mentally, it helped me physically, gave me some time to recover and just enjoy life. enjoy life, enjoy the spoils of my wins, and just being with family, being with friends. If you watch my Instagram, you see me traveling, enjoying my kids, having fun. And people kept asking me, "Are you coming back? When are you coming back?" And I told them, I know when it's ready. I know when I'm ready to come back. And I knew one day that, I wake up and I decide to come back. And if it didn't happen, then I would come back to boxing. So I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to put on a great show. I can't wait for July 26th to be fighting in Australia, to be fighting in front of his fans. I look forward to disappointing them, putting on a great show, putting on another great performance, and showing y'all why they nicknamed me the truth.
All right, now let's hear a little bit more from our fighters. And first, I'm going to start with you, Errol. We have seen the social media. We've seen fans, as you mentioned, asking, when is Errol coming back? When is Errol coming back? We've seen numerous fighters call you out, wanting to fight Errol Spence. Why did you decide to come back, and not only come back, but come back against Tim Tszyu?
I just felt like it was the right time because I didn't know I didn't know if I was coming back or not. I just knew that, one day, I might wake up and be like, I want to come back. And, the day after, then I talked to, the Cubans, I talked to Al, and we was going through a few names. And, they at first, they had reserves. Just they wanted me to take a tune-up fight, but I told them I don't take tune-up fights. I want to fight somebody who's gonna get me up for the challenge. And they said, what about Tim Tszyu? And I look forward to that. I've been doing that since I was an amateur fighting in other people's countries. I've been to Russia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan. So this is nothing new to me. Kilbrook, England, Sheffield. So this is nothing new to me. I look forward coming to Australia and just showing the fans who I am, and the gratifying moment of looking up after the fight and seeing how everybody left the arena because they were disappointed.
Over to you, Tim. You obviously, since Errol's been out 3 years, you've been in championship bouts, you've been in wars, you've been very active. Do you think Errol made a mistake by picking you in his comeback fight?
Yeah, it's definitely not recommended, to go straight into the firing line. Would have been better to start off slowly, but, on his caliber, he feels like he doesn't need tune-ups, which is fair enough. But yeah, it's going to be fireworks from the opening bell.
Back to you, Errol. As we mentioned, Tim's been in championship bouts and whatnot over the last 3 years. You're obviously now with Ronnie Shields. The question I'm sure people have is, 3 years with the layoff, how are you going to combat maybe the ring rust or the potential layoff as you prepare for this fight against Tim?
Ring rust is nothing but a mental thing. If you have a training camp, you look good in training camp, you look good in sparring, why can't you look good in the fight? That's a mental barrier you're talking about, and that's why people need tune-ups. Like, I feel like I don't need a tune-up because, the proof is in the pudding when you're in the gym. You know how you're going to fight once you're in the gym and when you're training, when you're sparring and working out and stuff, you know how you feel. So if I feel good in the training camp and I feel good in sparring, I'm going to feel good in the fight. I'm mentally ready, physically ready. I feel like me and Ronnie Shields have a great game plan. Ronnie Shields been through this numerous times. So, we'll be 100% ready for anything that, he could bring to the table.
Now back over to you, Tim. Now, this is a fight. Obviously, it's in your own backyard. You obviously, I'm sure, feel excited about it, but do you feel an added sense of pressure knowing he's coming to you in your country, in front of your countrymen, to face you?
Definitely no pressure. I'm just excited for the opportunity to be fighting in Australia. As we mentioned before, this is going to be one of the biggest fights in Australian boxing history, you know, and that's what it's all about, is bringing these super fights back home. I've had the pleasure of fighting here in Las Vegas and fighting all around the world, but there's no place like home, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And now back to you, Errol. I mean, I'm sure, could have potentially had this fight here, but you decided you're going to Australia. You want to face Tim in his backyard. Why did you make that decision to go over to Australia?
I'm about moments, and that's something that I enjoy. You know, I don't know, it's just, you know, some type of secret gratification, but to fight somebody in their hometown and fight in front of, you know, their countrymen, and to beat him in front of how many thousands of fans is going to be, that's going to be a great moment for myself. And you know, I like the feeling when I went to Sheffield and did the same thing, and I'm looking to do the same thing again.
Now back to you. I want to ask Matt you a question. You know, bringing this fight to Australia, you mentioned a fight of this magnitude is incredible. What does it mean for the country to have a fight like this there?
Well, look, over the last 5 years, Tim's had such a strong following in Australia, and fight fans have had to watch him go overseas and take on the really big fights. So for us to be able to bring this fight to Australia, it's a reward for all those fans that have followed his journey and allowed the success we've had back in Australia with Tim. So you got to remember is the Zoos are undefeated in Australia. Kostya, Tim, and Nikita have never been beaten in Australia. So I know what this is going to do in terms of come out to Australia and compete with that. It's the fans. It's having to come out there and I guess acclimatise to somewhere completely different.
I've been there, done that. So what you talking?
I know you went
done it. I've been there, done it. I've been there, Sheffield, done it. I've been there to the amateurs and done it. So what are you talking about?
All right. Well,
We're talking about pedigree here.
July 26th, and
We're talking about pedigree here.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to hosting it. It's going to be a fabulous event. Working on an undercard at the moment. They'll be released in a few weeks. But the event itself, it'll be special.
Now, I want to go over to you, Ron. You're going to be in Errol's corner for this fight. How did the relationship start, and what have you seen from Errol already as you guys have been starting to get the training going?
Well, you know, I've been watching Errol a lot, you know, I mean, his whole career, basically, you know, so it's nothing that I haven't seen. So, but the thing about it is, you know, he's going to be in great shape, you know, and like he's always said, all of his fights that you'll see. So, but, you know, the thing about it is, you know, he gets up for big fights. And that's what people don't understand sometimes, is that you got fighters and then you got fighters. But you got fighters that get up for the big fight. This is why he doesn't mind going to Australia. You know, he's been to all these other different countries fighting the supposedly best out there. And he's beating every one of them. So we're just looking forward to going to Australia and to do what he does best. And that's winning.
Now, over to you, Errol. You obviously are still a fan of boxing. What have you seen from Tim Tszyu in his last several fights, you know, as you've been an observer watching from afar?
You know, he's a ball to the wall type fighter. Tremendous heart. He never gives up, and he always comes to fight. You know, so you know, like I'm gonna tell the truth always. You know, he's a guy that gonna come to fight. You know, if you're not in shape or if you're not fit, you know, he's gonna put all that to the test. So, you know, he's a very good fighter.
And now over to you, Tim. What type of Errol Spence performance, what Errol Spence are you going to be expecting on July 25th, Saturday, and then July 26th, Sunday in Australia?
Well, of course, I'm expecting the best version of himself. the version that came to fight Kell Brook back in the days. So I'm expecting that. And I know he throws a lot of punches, very drowns people. I know the type of style he's got. So yeah, it's gonna be a cracking fight.
Now over to you, Errol. Obviously, this is at a catch weight of 158, but we know, that kind of weight area, 154, 160, is a very stacked division with a lot of notable names in that division. Where do you see yourself amongst those names in that division?
Man, I'm one of the best in it. Wherever I've been, wherever I lay my head, where my home is. So if I'm at 160, I feel like I'll fight a top opponent, a world champion at 160. If he's 54, I'll fight a top champion at 54. So it doesn't matter where I want to go. If I want to keep doing catch weight, I keep doing catch weights. I feel like I earned that right.
And now over to you, Tim. You've been a world champion, you fought in world title bouts, but do you believe this fight is the most important fight of your career thus far?
Yeah, of course. I think every next fight is always important. You always put everything on the line. So again, every next fight is always important, especially to the caliber of this event. I think this is the number one for me. Back in the days, my dad fought Julio Cesar Chavez, and growing up, he used to think of Julio Cesar Chavez as he was the number one guy, and my dad got to fight him and beat him. And this is the type of moment where I can reflect, because I grew up watching Errol Spence and being at that top caliber, and now I get to fight him. So this is like my Julio Cesar Chavez moment for my dad.
What do you make of that? The fact that he is comparing that moment that his father had with Julio Cesar Chavez, and he's saying this is his moment, his version of that.
I think it's cute. I mean, that ain't what that is. It's Errol Spence versus Tim Tszyu. He's no caliber of his father. Of his dad. So he can't even compare himself to his pops. And when he fighting me, he's trying to get out his daddy's shack. So we'll see come July 26th, can he get out of that?
How do you respond to that, Tim?
It's all right. He likes to talk it up as well. Look, I'm a very respectful guy. I came up to him before, tried to shake his hand, and he just walked past me like a disrespectful fuck. And that just shows the type of person he is. And that's all right, Now he's out here talking about the comparisons between me and my dad. I've heard it all. There's every fighter that I've ever fought said the same thing. It's all right. It's all right.
I don't play with games with people, bro. I don't that people who talk shit. And then when you see me, you want, hey, what's up, buddy? Like, I'm not one of those dudes, bro.
What's he saying?
What are you referencing, Errol?
I'm not one of those guys that you talking shit on social media. And then when you see me, you want to shake my hand.
I'm very respectful. What are you talking about? I've been calling you one of the best fighters of this decade.
I heard all those stuff, and then want to give me a hug. Like, I'm not cool with that. We can hug after the fight.
All right, Errol, I'll leave you with final comments. What are fans going to see Saturday here in the U.S., July 25th, and Sunday in Australia, July 26th?
Man, it's a war, man. I'm not here to shake and hug my opponents and all that. Like, it's a war. It's what it is. I'm coming to his hometown, coming to his territory, and I'm looking to take over. So I mean, why would he want to shake my hand? He's coming to destroy me. Coming to knock me out and retire me. I'm coming to beat him and show him that he's not up to anything of my pedigree. So it's going to be a great fight. And I know that I will become victorious come July 26th.
And now you, Tim, final comments, July 25th,
Yeah, look,
here in the States, July 26th in Australia.
victory. I was only going to give him a shake and a hug because it was his last fight, so just trying to make it nice and friendly, you know, so it is what it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss it already. Bad Blood's boiling over. July 25th here in the U.S. Prime Video, PBC pay-per-view. July 26th in Australia. You do not want to miss it. Errol the Truth Spence Jr., Tim Tszyu, it all goes down. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll have our fighters now get ready to face off. Run.
Fight news. Not fight news. Brunch Boxing.
Brunch Boxing, man. Y'all can Brunch Boxing.